the host and the listeners about their relationships. This show is not an attempt to assess, diagnose, or treat any mental health or illness condition. Please consult your physician, psychiatrist, or psychotherapist for personal matters.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Then you need the law offices of REF Datacar for your free case evaluation. Don't let the medical bills pile up, and don't let the insurance companies try to settle your claim for a few $100s. Call 714-464-3246. The law offices of REF Datacar serves all of California. If they don't win, you don't pay. So call now, 714-464-3246. This is a paid-for attorney advertisement by the law offices of REF Datacar of Orange, California.
Join the conversation every Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific for Inner Voice Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan. Dr. Foojan has a direct approach to getting you to free your mind. Inner Voice is a live call-in show where you can chat about your life and all that matters to you in your relationships. Inner Voice Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan, Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Pacific on Smart Talk, KMET 1490 AM, and on the Internet stream.
Hello.
Inner Voice, a heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Inner Voice Show. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine and have Sean in studio. This show's about what matters most in life: our minds, our thoughts, feelings, actions, relationships, and our fulfillment in this beautiful journey of life. Now, in this show, I will bring you the latest research about anxiety. Yes, the feeling that we all go around and have it all day. But don't worry, because after the research, and I'll get all your anxiety pumped up, then I'll have my first guest will be Dr. Alicia Clark, who is an author of Hack Your Anxiety. So she'll tell you how to hack it and not have it anymore. And then I'm excited to have Harley Wallen, who is a award-winning filmmaker and actor. So we're going to be really having an exciting show. Call the studio line, 951-922-3532, if you want to talk to me, or Dr. Clark or Harley Wallen. We're available for all of you to call and talk to. This Go to my website, foojan.com, and connect with me so that I can send you newsletters, because I have a lot that comes up and I consistently send it to everybody who's there, or connect to me to my social media so you can get all the articles and everything that I talk about and is going on around the city. Now, I've been working on a lot in this concept of feeling alone, which is also one of the reasons where many people start feeling anxious about. Loneliness and aloneness is one of the main concepts of anxiety also. So it's interesting that with more than 7 billion, more than 8 almost billion people on Earth, we still somehow feel alone. What is the feeling of being alone when we're really not alone? I mean, you can't even go anywhere on the face of the earth without seeing another human being, right? But we still feel alone. And mostly I keep hearing from my inner voice, my own inner voice, and people around me that the feeling alone translates into I don't have anyone who takes care of me, or I don't have anyone who understands me, loves me, accepts me, just the way I am. And I've kind of been pondering on this point. Where does this sense of expectation or entitlement comes from, where I should have somebody that takes care of me for the rest of my life? And it seems like the human being don't need to be cared for until about, minimum age of 7 to survive physically, and then minimum age of 18 legally, and emotionally kind of for the rest of our life. We'd like to. Somehow the expectation lingers that there should always be someone that takes care of us, or something is wrong. And although we might know logically that's not always possible, yet emotionally the sense of entitlement lingers as a feeling of sadness, or loss, or anxiety for it not to be there, or there's something wrong. This way of thinking and feeling allows for more feeling of powerlessness and helplessness on top of the sadness and anxiety, since we put the locus of control kind of out there in an imaginary external subject. And I wonder and suggest if we could shift this together, shift the thinking toward I'm responsible and kind of accountable to take care of myself physically, financially, and emotionally. And there are more than 7 billion people on the face of the earth that I can utilize as friends, as resources, as family members, as just people who are out there uh, for them to, as for me to be a support to them and a resource to them, and them to be a resource to me. So it takes a little bit more of joining our own heart and opening our heart and sharing it with others so that we could have that kind of a closeness with everyone that we really want and not really feel alone. Don't go anywhere. We're going to come back with the latest research. Call us 951-922-3532.
Dr. Foojan Zeine is a psychotherapist, a marriage and family therapist, and a life coach with more than 27 years of experience. She is the author of the Awareness Integration Model, which has been researched and published in numerous international journals. Dr. Foojan has offices in Beverly Hills, Irvine, and Woodland Hills, California, and also consults online and by telephone. Make an appointment with her today by calling 818-648-2140 or go online to www.foojan.com. That's www.foojan.com.
Join the conversation every Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific for Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan. Dr. Foojan has a direct approach to getting you to free your mind. Inner Voice is a live call-in show where you can chat about your life and all that matters to you in your relationships. Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan, Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Pacific on Smart Talk, KMET 1490 AM, and on the Internet stream.
Hey, you guys, I'm back. Dr. Foojan Zeine at Inner Voice Show. Now, for all of the Halloween lovers, which is everyone, Calabasas welcomes the first annual Night of the Jack at Halloween Jack-O-Lantern Experience. Now, Ben Biscotti has told me that he's going to give us some tickets for you, all of you. So it's fun. Listen to this and then contact me, because you're listening to this, so that I can get you some tickets. I don't have a lot, so you got to really hurry up. So Los Angeles residents and celebrities alike are expected to visit thousands of hand-carved pumpkins and celebrate Calabasas history. Night of the Jack will be more than a traditional Halloween attraction. Vast grounds of intricately hand-carved and illuminated pumpkins will welcome you visitors, and they're going to be celebrities there, and they make their way through the half-mile trail around the ranch. Will be open to enchant Los Angeles residents and tourists. Now, over 20 theme installations will be showcased. So thousands of hand-carved hours, including Land of Dinosaurs, Under the Sea installation, will be complete with sharks and turtles and jellyfishes and other sea creatures for everyone to enjoy. So remember, it's going to be starting October 11th through November 4th. October 11th through November 4th. And there's going to be themes, everything, gifts, everything is going to be there for you. So there's going to be daily from 6 p.m. to 11. Go to get the tickets, knightsofthejack.com. Knightsofthejack.com. It's going to be in King Gillett Ranch in Mulholland Highway in Calabasas. And the tickets are just $25 for adults and $20 for children. Again, we're going to have some tickets, so it's going to be exciting for people who call. We're going to have some for you. So let me tell you about the research I promised you about anxiety. The demands of modern life are making more of us anxious than ever before. Researchers who carried out a detailed study found pressure at work, home, and in our social lives have led 40% of the nation to now believe they suffer from some source of anxiety. Written in Mirror.co by Gemma Francis. More than 1 in 5 women, they are now more fretful, edgy, or tense than they were 5 years ago with the health concerns. Others have become more stressed about taking time off, work, socialization, their finances, and their career. Now, our lives are becoming busier, can feel overwhelming, constantly striving for more and better. Now, worldwide events are being streamed into the phone in the palm of our hands in our highly connected digital world, and it's challenging to switch off, which our brain needs to rest and stay calm at times. Now, the constant stream of demands and data is overpowering for me, especially for those with the vulnerability to developing anxiety. So the study also found 62% of people believe life is becoming increasingly more anxiety provoking, with the average adult rating their anxiety levels at almost 3 out of 5, with 5 being very severe. 1 in 20 put their anxiety at a full 5. It also emerged anxiety sufferers will struggle 4 times a day with their condition, but more than 3/4 will keep it quiet from others around them. Now, anxiety has a huge effect on the lives of some sufferers with almost 1 in 10 saying that the condition led them to losing their jobs, while another 19% just quit. So, I can't handle this anymore. And other sufferers have said that they've lost their relationship, lost their friends, put on weight, or avoid socialization. And worryingly, this study carried that out via onepoll.com, found many are suffering in silence, with just 28% admitting it, actually. So a tsunami of anxiety is impacting everyone and everyone's health. Now, the second research gives a bit of a solution to it, and then we're going to talk to Dr. Alicia Clark when we come back. Her book, Hack Your Anxiety. So the second research says mindfulness meditation programs have shown promise for the treatment of anxiety. Hallelujah. One of the most common mental health disorders in the US. Now, new research suggests people can begin to derive psychological and physiological benefits from the practice of even one after a single introductory session of meditation. Our results show a clear reduction in anxiety in the first hour after the meditation session, and our preliminary results suggest that anxiety was significantly lower 1 week after the meditation session, says Dr. John Durocher, the assistant professor of physiology of Department of Biological Sciences, Michigan Technology University. Participants also reduced mechanical stress on their arteries an hour after the session. So this could help to reduce stress on organs like the brain and the kidneys and help prevent conditions such as high blood pressure. And understanding the effects of the mindfulness meditation on the body can help improve the design of anti-anxiety therapies. Anxieties can be a risk factor for cardiovascular cardiovascular diseases. Now, previous studies have indicated that arterial stiffness is a predictor of cardiovascular disease, can be increased by traumatic life events, job strain, depression, temporary anxiety, and prolonged anxiety. But that also leads to high blood pressure and long-term damage to various organs. So it seems like they found that even one time of meditation really helps bring down and reduce anxiety. And can you imagine if you put that meditation as a part of your life every day, 10 minutes, and what that would do in managing your anxiety and stress. So we'll be right back with Dr. Alicia Clark.
Have you ever wished you could just wake up one day, reach across your nightstand, and hit the life reset button? Let's face it, the struggles and frustrations of everyday life leave millions of women and men around the globe yearning for a new way. And the new way is right here in Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want, by Dr. Foojan Zeine. You can get it now at Foojan.com or Amazon.com. Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want. You deserve it.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Then you need the law offices of Aria Thadakar for your free case evaluation. Don't let the medical bills pile up, and don't let the insurance companies try to settle your claim for a few $100s. Call 714-464-3246. The law offices of Aria Thadakar serves all of California. If they don't win, you don't pay. So call now, 714-464-3246. This is a paid-for attorney advertisement by the law offices of Aria Thadakar of Orange, California.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here with Dr. Alicia Clark, is a Washington, D.C. based licensed psychologist specializing in anxiety and relationships. Now, she's been named one of Washington's top doctors by Washingtonian magazine and has served as an adjunct clinical faculty at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. Her presentations on stress and anxiety have been sought after by numerous professional conferences and organizations, and she's written for popular websites like Yahoo, Time, Forbes, and Huffington Post, and Your Tango, which that's where I exactly met her. We were having videos together. You can visit her at AliciaClarkPsyD.com, and we're going to talk about her new book, Hack Your Anxiety. I love it. Let's hack it, Alicia. Let's talk about it.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's nice to have you. It's nice to see you again.
It's nice to see you. It's been too long.
Yes.
It's been too long. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, of course. Alicia, talking about anxiety, you say it's a normal and adaptive human emotion that reflects a full and engaged life. It means we care. Moderate anxiety also correlates with optimal functioning. We might not like how it feels, but it helps us in the best. Now, in your book, you say anxiety is both the feeling of realizing something we care about may be at risk and the arrival of the resources we need to protect it. So it's both the signal of the problem and the elements of the solution. Tell us about it.
Well, what I noticed is that people didn't always get better by just trying to ignore their anxiety, thinking that it's irrational, thinking that it's there to harm us, dangerous. All of these sorts of ideas made it difficult for people to actually learn how to manage it. And what I found turned out to be a little more helpful was when they faced their anxiety and tuned in to the anxiety that was trying to tell them something, the rational anxiety, I call it, the signal that something's off, the conflict that you feel, the sense that something's not right, and the energy to do something about it. So that's kind of what got me started. The science dive turns out to be that anxiety has at least as much to do with attention and motivating energy as it does with anything else. And this idea.
What do you mean? Say more about that.
It stimulates our attention. It stimulates our focus, our dopamine centers. It motivates the centers in our brain having to do with solving something, also dopamine. And that made a lot of sense to me, that it's activating energy. Anxiety is energy. We know that it's energy. Anybody that's felt anxiety feels the energy in it. I think what was surprising to me is to find that it actually stimulates our focus, that it can help us focus rather than just detract our focus, which I think is what most people believe, is that it gets in the way of focus.
So what I'm hearing from you is our regular experience that sometimes we don't call it anxiety, but it is, which is this kind of an anticipatory concept that comes on and makes us alert in order to do something. And right before, like I know people who are creative, right before creation and the amazing creation that they cut, like painters, songwriters, and all of that. There's this boost of energy that shows up and then it comes back and releases. Or when we want to do something like public speaking or talking or doing something, an anxiety or a boost of energy holds us where on a top level in order to get everything done, pay attention and all. And you're saying that energy is also anxiety, where most of us just have the sense that anxiety is a bad thing, is a negative. It's the times that we're upset about something versus it's getting us ready to burst and create and produce.
That's very well said. It can be, it can definitely be that boost to produce and create and get things done. It also can spur us along when we're in mid motion, when we're already activating on something. Anxiety can sort of keep us going. Um, some people call it stress, some people call it worry. I'm not sure in our brain that all those different emotions look that different. Probably what happens in our brain is different for everybody, of course, but it's the energy that I think is inherent in anxiety is something that can be harnessed. Is what I think is the message. When people do something with their anxiety, when they embrace it rather than fight it, they can use it and use it to their advantage to fuel what it is that they care about and what it is that they're trying to do. And that's what I've seen in my practice.
So if they just call it a fear, like sometimes we've called anxiety a fear of unknown. Like, if you have, if you know you have a fear, you know it, but then it's the stress before and it's associated with fear only. And what I'm hearing from you and in your book is that's not associated just with fear. So it might be that some of it is fear, but even if it is, because of fear, I think our first concept is if we name it that way and feel it that way, we want to run away. We want to avoid. And that's what anti-anxiety medication do, just numb you so you don't have to experience it. And what you're suggesting is, can we embrace it, although uncomfortable, but can we learn from it? Can you say more about that and how to change and reframe those conversations?
Yeah, I think what's exciting here is to learn that we've got some control over how we name our experience. So you just said fear, you said anxiety, I said worry, stress. All those are different names. They're all different ways that we might name that same pit in our stomach. And that pit in our stomach could be excitement. There was some really interesting research about just naming our emotions as something positive makes it that way. And this is Lisa Feldman Barrett's research out of Northeastern, who looks at this idea of emotional construction. And the main idea is that we, and you probably know this, when we name our emotions, we define them. We've got a lot of control over what happens in our body when we name our emotions. So when we decide we're afraid, who wants to go embrace their fears? Nobody does. But if we were to, instead of calling something a fear, call it sort of an excitement, or call it anticipation, or call it a little nerves, or call it some worry, a little discomfort, all of those more gentle descriptions of perhaps the same internal experience allows us to embrace that energy better. And physiologically, at least what the science is suggesting, it changes how we experience it in our brain. When we label something in a more positive way, it becomes it. From an emotional point of view. I think that's terribly profound. It's not what we were taught in graduate school. We were only taught, at least what I was taught, was we can change how we think about the emotions, but the emotions themselves, you can't touch. You feel what you feel when you feel it, and that's how it is. There's nothing we can do about what we feel.
Well, it's still the same. But it's still the same, Alicia, because when we name it, we're choosing what to name it. So it's the changing of the thought process, which now that I change it to this name and identify it with this name has a more of a positive connotation for me. So the way that I deal with it is way different than if I named it this horrifying concept that I'm powerless against. So definitely, I think the concept of if I named it, that I can be different with it is also the new concept that you're talking about.
Right. And that's not my research. That is really the frontier, I think, of positive psychology and how we think and name our experience, which is just so empowering. Yes. It's so empowering. And if we can if we can change how we think about anxiety and even how we label it when we feel it, we'll be better able to embrace that energy that's really there. It's really there to help us.
One of the concepts you've talked about in your book is secondary anxiety, which we get afraid of our own emotion, which is so
Right.
true. I mean,
Yes.
panic attack is exactly that. Like somebody has an anxiety attack, has a symptomology, and they get scared of their own experience in their body, and then they identify it was like, oh my god, there's something wrong, I'm gonna die, something's gonna go bad, I'm sick, and I can't function if I go out like this, I'm just gonna be dysfunctional. What am I going to do when I'm out there? And then therefore they create this new of
Mm-hmm.
panic for themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Please share with
You're
us.
exactly right about how panic happens. I fully believe that panic is the product of fearing our our emotions and fearing our anxiety in particular. When we resist and fear something, we ratchet it up exponentially. The opposite is also true, that if we don't fear our emotional experience, if we don't fear our anxiety, we can keep it at a more usable level. It doesn't have to escalate into something that's not usable. And I think we all would agree that panic is not usable. Chronic, severe anxiety is not usable. There are certainly people that are listening, I'm sure, who think, what is she talking about? Anxiety is useful. It's not useful. It cripples me every day. And for people who experience severe anxiety, it is true that they've gotten in such a pattern of resisting their anxiety, of fearing the experience, that yeah, they're in a place where anxiety isn't serving them productively. And I do think that those are the places where medication can be helpful, where other strategies of bringing it back to a more moderate level, a usable level, is really important, because we're not talking about any anxiety is useful. We're talking about moderate anxiety is correlated with our peak performance. And that's the Yerkes-Dodson curve. That's from the 1920s. It's been around a long time, that stress and arousal, and I'd say anxiety, help us be at our best. And that moderate, it's an upside down U curve. It's like a upside down U, the top of the U being peak performance, moderate anxiety. And so that to me is where we're trying to steer anxiety. It's supposed to be comfortable. It's supposed to help us function. And too much anxiety isn't helpful. So back to your point of secondary anxiety, yes, if you want to ratchet up anxiety into something that's not helpful, let yourself be afraid of it, and let yourself resist it, and you can get yourself in a really uncomfortable place.
Well, we talk about medication, and I know that there's a lot of anti-anxiety medication, and sometimes anxiety can be genetic, and it can be it can be chemical, it can be that you're sitting and living in an environment that produces a lot of anxiety, so that you are it's a second nature to you to live that way and worry, because your mother always worried, and you picked up that also as a thought and a behavioral concept. Medication numbs it down, calms down the intensity, but doesn't give you skills. And that's why I think psychotherapy, and then as we were talking about meditation, which becomes the awareness of how your thought process is, and psychotherapy helps you to actually gain skills in how to calm down the thought process that you have, and what to do with your physiology, and also how to redefine it, as you've said it in your book, Hack Your Anxiety. That's what's important, in how to be able to define what is underlying the anxiety, which is it the moderate anxiety, which is supposed to push you forward and create creation and potential concept, or is it something that is debilitating you, and then you have to hold back and shift the way you are with it consistently? Because even if it's something destructive for you, be nice to yourself.
Yes.
I mean, you still need to heal yourself and be nice, versus being this damn thing about the anxiety. So talk to us about your chapters, about what is it that you say, be nice to yourself, please, even if you're anxious.
Right. Well, I first of all, such a privilege to talk through this book a little bit. These things that we write down that are our life's work that we hope will help people.
Yes.
Resisting anxiety or any part of our experience is really unkind. It's not helping, it's fighting. And fighting with ourselves or resisting and struggling is not really correlated with too much that's helpful. I love this metaphor of the monkey and the green banana. It's a story, and I don't even know if I don't know if it's a true story, but it's told, and I tell it in my book of a monkey can get caught in a coconut by putting a banana inside the coconut, and the monkey will grab the banana and won't let go, and the monkey will make a fist and not let go. He can't pull his fist out, and so and I think that's a great metaphor of how when we struggle and we wrestle and we fight with ourselves, we can entrap ourselves in situations where if we just thought about it differently, if we just let go, if we just had a way to be a little more gentle, we could find a different solution. And this very much is threaded throughout the book, I hope, and throughout my practice, and I'm sure for you as well, is being compassionate with ourselves is really a huge first step in being able to work with ourselves, listen to ourselves.
I really love what you said about, it's a signal. I've had this a lot with my clients in my office. Come in because of anxiety. Into it, and we see that it's a loss because of the type of a relationship they have, the marriage they have. It's an anger that they're pushing in and they're not allowing to come. There's voices that they need to talk about, they're not. Or recently I have a lot of people with actually autoimmune disease syndromes. Well, they come in first with anxiety, and as we talk about it, it's like, okay, this is not really psychological. Can you please go to your doctor and find out? And they find out they're telling them that there's some disease, and the anxiety first was the signal to get them to the doctor in order to see that. So this concept of, look at your emotions as signals, not your enemies. These are not things that are showing up which you have to keep shoving out or numbing with all sorts of drugs. This is really your body symptomology signaling you to say, hello, knock knock, do something. And this is one of the big your book is stating to people. So everyone, please go to Alicia AliciaClarkSide.com, right?
Yes, that's my website. But you can get the book at any retailer. But there's a lot on my website that talks about the book and the strategies and blogs, as you know, you write too. There's plenty that you can find on this idea to.
And what are some of the suggestions also that end of your book, you've also put some suggestions beside rediscovering, beside redefining, what else can you tell our listeners and viewers?
Well, to this idea that anxiety is energy, it's energy to solve a problem ultimately. So what I find is that people feel better when they clue in to what it is that their body's trying to tell them. I 100% agree. I think that mindfulness, any sort of meditation, any sort of insight building is terribly useful to be able to understand what the signal is. Not everybody can really understand what anxiety is trying to whisper to you, yell at you, chatter to you, any of those things. It's not like there's a translation book that we all get when we're born, right?
Yeah, I wish we did.
So, I know, I do too. So, translating it, listening to it, understanding is very helpful, and I think that gives a modicum of relief right away. But what really stops the anxiety, in my experience, is when people do something. So your example of your patient who went to the doctor to find out what the symptoms were. I have a story. I've got several anecdotes my book about a similar situation where it's not just poo-poo this possible physical thing and assume that it's anxiety. Go out, make sure your heart's okay, make sure that your energy levels are down because of anxiety and not because of something else, because going and doing something with the anxiety is really how you quiet it, and it doesn't go away until you do something that works.
Yes.
It's very persistent that way. I notice anxiety just keeps coming back, and I think my favorite anxiety has become what I call whisper anxiety, which is this sort of anxiety that people will talk about. They wake up first thing in the morning thinking about something, or they dream about something, or they are not so fully conscious of it, but it's on their mind. And that's the kind of anxiety that's really saying, okay, I'll wait until you can make time, but I'm really not going to go away until you do something with me, because I'm really trying to tell you something that's important to you. And that's another thing, is we don't get worried and anxious about things we don't care about. We get worried and anxious about the stuff that matters.
Right.
It
Sometimes there's a lot of stress, and that's why we get anxious, and then we have to calm down. And when we calm down, it seems like the anxiety goes away. Sometimes we're so involved with things that we're not necessarily dealing with what we're supposed to. So then when we quiet down, the voice shows up and says, hello, do something about me. And actually the things that are deeper within us shows up to be taken care of. So the biggest message that I get from your book, Hack Your Anxiety, is honor your emotion as it shows up, take care of them, listen to it, see what it is about. And if you can redefine it, not as a negative thing, but as a signal, pick it up, do something about it to take care of yourself and that part of you that is asking. So everyone, please go to AliciaClark.com to get more and more and more information about Dr. Alicia Clark, wonderful work. And also go to Amazon.com or anywhere you buy your books and buy Hack Your Anxiety. It's a pleasure to have you, and it was great seeing you again.
Great to see you too. Thanks so much.
Of course. So we'll be right back with our next guest, who's an award-winning director and actor.
Join the conversation every Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific for Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan. Dr. Foojan has a direct approach to getting you to free your mind. Inner Voice is a live call-in show where you can chat about your life and all that matters to you in your relationships. Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan, Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Pacific on Smart Talk, KMET 1490 AM, and on the internet stream.
Dr. Foojan Zeine is a psychotherapist, a marriage and family therapist, and a life coach with more than 27 years of experience. She is the author of the Awareness Integration Model, which has been researched and published in numerous international journals. Dr. Foojan has offices in Beverly Hills, Irvine, and Woodland Hills, California, and also consults online and by telephone. Make an appointment with her today by calling 818-648-2140 or go online to www.foojan.com. That's www.foojan.com.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Don't miss out on the free KMET smartphone apps. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Then you need the law offices of REF Datacar for your free case evaluation. Don't let the medical bills pile up, and don't let the insurance companies try to settle your claim for a few $100s. Call 714-464-3246. The law offices of REF Datacar serves all of California. If they don't win, you don't pay. So call now, 714-464-3246. This is a paid-for attorney advertisement by the law offices of REF Datacar of Orange, California.
Have you ever wished you could just wake up one day, reach across your nightstand, and hit the life reset button? Let's face it, the struggles and frustrations of everyday life leave millions of women and men around the globe yearning for a new way. And the new way is right here in Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want by Dr. Foojan Zeine. You can get it now at Foojan.com or Amazon.com. Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want. You deserve it.
Hello, everyone. We're back. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine. I have Sean in studio, and guess who I have here? Not with me, on Skype. Harley Wallen, multi-award-winning filmmaker and actor. He just got 2 more last night. Wallen has starred in over 40 feature films. I mean, I was reading this, and I'm like, my God, how old is this guy? He's not that old. It's just a lot of work. Feature films and TV shows with legendary stars such as Tom Sizemore, Richard Tyson, John Savage, Scout. I'm not that good with names, but I'll try. Tara Reid, Dennis Haskins, Saved by the Bell, and among many, many others. He started his journey as a martial artist, early judo at 8, and is now a 5th degree black belt. Watch out, all of you. Harley also spent time learning other arts, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, and black belts, all of them, and mixed martial arts. His other love as a young age was dance, and he was an outstanding breakdancer in his teen years. His sheer talent and skill is what landed him his first opportunity in acting as a dancer at the syndicated Swedish TV cult hit, I'll try this, Sol Solarna. Soon after he realized he was bitten by this acting bug. Harley then moved, not just acting, but he directs, he does everything. Then moved from Sweden to the United States to boldly pursue his dreams. And in 2016, Harley and his wife, Kate, the film production company, Painted Creek Productions. Wallen has been awarded by prestigious film festivals such as the Barcelona International Film Festival, Amsterdam Film Festival, London Film Festival Awards, the Mexico International Film Festival, just to name a few. And this coming September, actually this Wednesday coming, 2 days from now, will be a much anticipated world premiere of Harley's Betrayed. The movie Betrayed, which will be at the Chinese Theater, TCL Chinese Theater, with a star-studded industry after party, a multi-million-dollar mega mansion in Hollywood Hills. I should be invited to all of them. But he says that he already has a waiting list. So if you want to go to Chinese Theater, but go there anyway and see him as he comes out. Hi, Harley.
Hi, Doctor. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. You just mentioned it. Had such an amazing night yesterday at the Lucky Strike Film Festival.
Yay!
And I'm not sure what happened. I didn't really have the feeling we were going to win. I had my co-producer and another girl who stars in Betrayed. And I said, is there any chance I can get a couple extra tickets? And he said, we're at capacity, so we can't get anybody else in, which is, again, a great problem to have. But yes. I thought maybe they would figure us out, or maybe they didn't really think we were going to win. So we were sitting up in the balcony when they called out the name, and I had to hurry down and do that dramatically late to get the award. But that was really cool. Fantastic event.
So tell us about the movie.
You know, the movie is called Betrayed. It stars, like you said, John Savage, Richard Tyson, and Billy Wirth, and TJ Storm, and some other really, really good names. But it really is from an event that church. They started talking about the trafficking statistics in our own country, in our own backyards right here. And I think I was pretty surprised by that. And I wanted people to understand that this happens here. It happens not just in the neighborhood over there with those kind of people. It's everywhere. And it's an epidemic that's just beginning. And the world has seen this for a while, and it's found its way here. And it's a big problem. So I wanted to make a film that touched on that hopefully will get some people to want to jump up and join the fight in preventing this from happening. And that's probably the basis of the story. It's two mafias, a cartel and the Russian mafia, essentially battling it out for Detroit and the trafficking of drugs and human trafficking as well.
That's intense movie.
Mm-hmm.
And doing your research, what is it that you found that it's happening here now? Because that's what you said. It's coming.
Yeah.
Like the world has had it, but we're having the flux coming in. In your researching for the movie, what do you think the causes were?
Well, I do think that, especially daughters growing up, many without fathers figures and broken homes, and they end up, running away. I interviewed a girl that she used to be a ring girl. She really a part of the community, and she had a friend that essentially said, "Hey, I just moved to Florida. Come stay with me," because the other girl had just gone through a breakup. And when she got down there, she was essentially locked up into a house. It was an entire bait and switch campaign with this woman bringing people down to there and then just locking them up in a house. And it took her several months to escape. And I can't even wrap my mind around that, being, this is somebody I don't know very well who was willing to tell the story anonymously. But I tried to put the face of my wife or my kids on that, because that's how I think we can make a difference when we realize that it could be any of us next time.
Absolutely. I think that it's so important for important issues that are out there to be put in different types of movies. So thank you for doing that, because I know that the audiovisual aspect and the storytelling touches people's heart, and it takes them to a space of wanting to do something. Just, talking about it in research and giving people numbers doesn't do the same effect as when you put it into a film and it inspires and touches people's heart. They'll take off and they'll do something about it. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
I know that you have a lot more coming for you. As I looked at it, it's like, 10 more projects coming for the next year. When do you get time?
You know what? I love even when I was just acting before I started filmmaking, I love the craft. I love the art of acting. I love storytelling. So for me, I am the happiest when I'm working. That's my favorite place to be, to write up and come up with a story. I have Agramon's Gate coming out next, which will probably be in February next year. And it's a horror film because I really wanted to write a horror film with a great story, because I feel so many horror stories these days, there's really no story to it. It's just a bunch of scares. And I wanted to go back and do it the old-fashioned way, where we have this great story where we get to follow these characters through a really scary time. So that one is coming out soon, and we're just starting editing my film Abeyance, which I believe will be the biggest to date. I read an article about this head transplant that's about to happen in China, and the fact that they've already done it successfully on dead primates, and they're seeing that it is possible to lower the temperature and doing this and that. And I thought to myself, pretty soon we're going to be able to microchip ourselves into things and almost use our body as a shell and essentially live forever. So I wrote a story a little bit about that and some of the abuses that will likely happen, because obviously all of these things are going to be catered towards the ones with the means to do what they want, and this film touches on that, the Holy Grail, and
wow.
And it's a very, very intriguing story.
It is.
Two genetic companies that are fighting and building this thing, and then they find out that the other company is not morally and ethically clean, and they pull apart, and now they have only these two prototypes, and then it turns into a death spiral, so to speak, in the story. It's a great ride.
It sounds like it. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and talking to a lot of people who are with the AI, intelligence and their fears and things that they see, not only with, like what you say, you look at something that is right here and you can just look at how it's going to turn around and how it's going to change the humanity altogether.
Yeah.
I also know that you've worked with your body as far as a dancer and martial artist, and you've done a lot of stunt work also when you were an actor, and kind of shifted into a little bit more of your from your body to imaginatory work and creation in some other place in your movie, bringing the stories, shifting them, seeing them. How is that transition for you, going from the creativity of your body into your imaginative work?
Well, I think what I found is being in a place where you're fully present is one of my favorite places to be. I find the world is very distracting. So when you break dance, you have to be all there because it's such demanding activity and sport or dance, whatever you want to call it, that it really consumes you. And it's the same thing with martial arts. You have an opponent across from you that's looking to do damage and wants to take you out in order to win. So you can't afford to have a little piece that's thinking about the finances or what kind of day you're having or any of those things. You have to empty completely and be 100% present. And that's so refreshing. It's a great place to be. So I found that actually translated to acting and directing a lot. So I found that was a very happy place for me.
That's true. That's such a great conversation and the space that you're talking about, because that's all we have is the present moment. Amen. And that's what the greatest essence of creativity shows up in that present moment.
Yeah.
So you're saying that what you've done is kind of try to master being in the present moment, and then just falls wherever it falls, whether it's in the dancing or in the now creating the movies. So everyone, after Wednesday, which is going to be featured in Chinese theater, then where could people trade?
Well, after that, yeah, absolutely. It will be virtually everywhere. So you're going to be able to walk into Walmart or whatever store you're shopping at that has DVDs. It'll be on video on demand pretty much anywhere you can find video on demand. So if you like Amazon or if you like Vudu or any of those outlets, it's going to be everywhere. Really, to see this go out, we've had tremendous feedback so far. Significant film festivals already, given us accolades for this film, and we've had such a short festival run that I think people are really going to enjoy it. I do.
Wonderful. Well, it's been a joy to have you. Thank you for sharing your latest work with us, and we're so excited to see all of your next work. And I'm so I feel privileged and blessed to have you do such a great work in such an amazing and concept, which is the trafficking, and bringing information to all of us to watch and hopefully take a stand for it. So thank you for being with us.
Oh, thank you so much. It was my pleasure, for sure.
Take good care of yourself. And everyone, thank you for being with us. Thank you for listening and viewing us with your heart. And until next week, create an amazing life for yourself and everyone around you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The Inner Voice Show is a dialogue between the host and the listeners about their relationships. This show is not an attempt to